Hello, hello, hello. Good evening to everyone out there. How's everyone doing? It's that time. It's that time. It's Tuesday, relationship night, relationship evening. Listen, tonight we're not talking about relationships totally. We're doing something much deeper that we need to talk about, and that's sisterhood. Right? We're going to talk about that tonight on Bravo with Sheila. We have some great guests. They're not new to the platform. You've seen them before. I told you they would be coming back and back and back, but they're great, wonderful women. And we're going to have a good time tonight talking about the bonds and breaks of sisterhood. Did you did you hear that title? The bonds and breaks of sisterhood. Mm-mm-mm. I'm telling you, we have to do what we have to do. I'm getting messages from everybody. Let me see, y'all. Let me just see what message. All right, she's trying to get in. Listen, we having some problems here, technical problems trying to get in, but we got Coach Pache in the back trying to bring one of our sisters to the platform. Anyway, those of you that don't know me, my name is Sheila Ingram, and this is Bravo with Sheila. Ladies, let's chat. And this platform, this broadcast was designed for women to help you move from pain to power and from power to victory, to help encourage you, to help to get you from a broken place to a whole place. Look, we take care of the whole man here. We don't get a piece of you and then just go on moving on to another sector. We look at the whole man. And so tonight we're going to have a really good time. I'm excited about the conversation tonight. I couldn't wait. I was anticipating this conversation because it is needed. It is needed. We need to talk about it. Good evening, Princess K. Good evening. Thank you for being here with us, Princess K. Love you, sis. Love you, love you, love you. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to have a good chat, a good conversation. Princess is saying good evening. And so I'm going to bring the ladies to the platform and I'm going to open up the show. We're going to play our opener and then we're going to have a really good time. So let's bring Coach Pache. Hey, drum roll.
Hey.
Dr. Elaine, drum roll. Hello. And our dear Diane Anderson, drum roll. Yay. Yes. We're going to have a good time tonight. I'm so excited. I really believe you guys are going to really give some jewels and help a lot of women and people in general about the importance of bonding, the importance of when something breaks, how sometimes you got to let it go and sometimes it's worth patching back together. Some things you got to keep it moving, and some things God said nope, go back and get that sister. But we're going to talk about all of that tonight. Let's see what our dear Princess K is saying. She said, I love you too and I'm blessed to be here. I love you, sis. Thank you so much. I told y'all I have some partners in these YouTube streets. Princess K is one of my partners. We hang out, we walk through the block together, even though we never seen each other in person. We got our little group and we walk through the block. Oh, here's Ine. Here's the other sister that we be walking through the block of the YouTube streets. We just walking. We just walking. Hey sis, hi Ine, how are you? These ladies have really, they gave me, I mean, this is sisterhood. They've been loving on me. Isn't that something? They're just blessed. So I'm so happy to have you here, Ine and Princess K, and those of you on Facebook. We're getting ready to have an incredible time tonight. So, ladies, let's just play this intro, and then we're going to jump right into it. This is Bravo with Sheila, and what do we do here? We raise the bar. We raise the Yes, we are raising the bar. All right, ladies, are you ready to jump into this incredible chat? Are you ready?
Yes.
Y'all ready? You got it going on?
We ready.
All right, let me get back to the chat and see what our friends is saying. Sir Hell Speaks is here. Sir Hell, thank you so much for being here tonight. We are chatting tonight about bonds and Breaks of Sisterhood. Sarah Hale said to hit that like button on the way in. That's right. That's right. And Sir Hale is greeting all of you. Let me put his comment up.
Hey,
He
Sir
says,
Hal.
Coach
Hello.
Pache,
How are
yes.
you?
He says everyone's looking beautiful, looking forward to the fantastic production. And so we're happy to be here. And so tonight, this is a dynamic conversation we're going to have. And I'm really happy that you guys are back. This is like, I don't know what number book this was that you wrote together. Well, this is number 2.
2.
Number
Yes.
2. So
It was the second one.
the second, Dr. Elaine and Coach Pache, for those of you that don't know, they reached out and just gave love and gave support to women who had a book inside of them, who had a story inside of them. And a lot of them were like, I didn't know how to write. I don't know. And they pushed in. This is what it's about. Developing someone where they say they can't, you can when you have a great sisterhood. And so this book number 2 that Dr. Elaine and Coach Pache have put out. I think they have 6 books out. And this book title is Bonds and Breaking, the Bonds and Breaking of Sisterhood. So let me just read the introduction of the book. And then these ladies, because it's a compilation, they always get like a group of women to write the other topics you had of hurting you, loving you is hurting me. What's the other ones?
Stepping into my purpose.
Stepping into my purpose. Come on. It's more.
Doing it afraid.
Doing it afraid. And what's the next one?
Well, the first one was moving forward from broken to beautiful.
All right. Look, you guys listen, you got another one coming out soon. And that's the one about the father and the mother losing. What's the title?
Letters to Our Moms, Letters to Our Dads, which was postponed into next year.
Okay. Okay. Yes. COVID did a little switch thing, but we all right. We all right with COVID. It ain't not stopping nothing. We're going to keep it moving. So the introduction to the Bonds and Breaks of Sisterhood is a compilation of sisterhood stories that would help you reflect on the true meaning of sisterhood. This book will help you evaluate your sisterhood and determine which ones are beneficial and which ones are not. We could park there, but we're not. It takes you through the lives of our 4 women who deemed it necessary to share their stories that caused them to value sisterhood. We've evaluated our personal friendships we've encountered on life's journey that helped shape us into the women we are in order to help sisters that struggle with bonding with other women. How do I get in this friendship? That's a question. Is this friendship worth it? That's another big question. Am I wasting my time? That's a huge question. How did I get in this friendship? And is it worth it? Is this friendship worth it? Is there reciprocity? Is this era we live in? It's essential, and this is so true. In this era that we live in, it's essential that sisterhood bonds are formed. As women, we wear many hats: vice president, supervisor, entrepreneur, friend, wife, mother. However, the only one that understands us is us. Our sisterhood journeys are different, yet they helped us determine what friendships were valuable and which ones we had to release. You got to let them go. Some things you just got to let it go. Right. When somebody is toxic, you got to let it go. Yes. When someone is not celebrating you and someone's tolerating you, you got to
let it go.
Oh, there you go. All right, let's jump into this. I want to start talking about the experiences that you had writing this particular book. I know that we did something before on a platform where we talked about breaking down the stories that's inside of the chapters. Tonight, I want you to touch on the stories, but tonight I want you to really talk about the sisterhood, the bondings and the breakings, how it affected you. How did you recover? Because you can get a broken heart from a friend as well as getting a broken heart from a relationship with the opposite sex, especially when you have that strong bond. I always believe it's not the quantity of a time that you know someone, it's the quality. I've had friends for 15 years and then met someone and met them for 2 years, and the quality of the friendship surpassed that other friendship. So it's not about how many years, it's about the substance and what someone brings to your life, right? So trust and loyalty and dependability and honesty, all of those things is a person motivated with pureness in their heart? Do they hang with me because they want something, right? You gotta, it's all these different motives that just not men, but women have with other women. So we're gonna jump into it. Sister Diane, how you doing tonight? I'm gonna start with
I'm
you, sweetie.
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I am good. It's so good to see you again. You look well, you look beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Yes. So listen, I'm going to start with you. I was reading, and I had read this book over and over, and your story was, all the stories just are like tear jerkers at times. You're like, wow, but you made it through. And
Yeah.
I was looking at the heartbreak that you went through, like back to back, the trust that was broken. I mean, everything that segued you into your sister that you talked about. I want you to tell it your way. It's freestyle over here in Bravo. This is not an interview. This is a chat. That's why the chat is talking. I'll be
Yeah.
putting comments up. If you guys remember, we don't ignore our chat. We don't ignore the chat here or at Facebook. So if I put something up, it's a conversation. So I want you to talk about what you felt. Now, were you a writer or author before you got involved with this project?
Absolutely not. I wrote poetry on my own, but as far as writing a book, I had never done that. I
Hmm.
had gotten like people, you go to different services and you hear people give you a prophecy like, oh, you have a book in you, and I see you as an author, but I have never stepped out into that on my own until Dr. Elaine and Pache reached out to me. That was like, okay, that was my opening right there, to walk out into that. So a lot of times people will speak something over us, but we don't realize that we have to make that step or it won't come to pass. So
Absolutely.
I'm grateful for that sisterhood. And
Yes,
what you had
yes.
mentioned on as far as the quality of friendship and people that you meet, you may know them for a short amount of time. So when I wrote the book with them, I had just focused on bonds, and I didn't do breaks. And now, as time has gone on, I can even start on breaks now, because what I'm
Mm.
realizing is that the more you develop yourself and the more you walk out into your giftings, you start to realize sisters that aren't real, people
Wow.
that are not supporting you that you thought were in your corner. So now I had to cut off a whole lot of people, as you were saying that, because I know that they were not for me for real. And I know we
Yeah.
experience that the higher we go in God and in our calling, we start to get the haters. They come out of the woodwork, and those people that we thought were so close to us are the ones that reveal themselves as the snakes.
Mm.
And that's kind of shameful,
Wow.
but that's reality.
Wow.
And
Wow. Wow. So
so
how did that affect you? How, like, I know, like, if you're a sensitive, you don't even have to be a sensitive individual. When
yes.
you give trust to whether it's a
Mm-hmm.
female, a male, a child, a doctor, a lawyer, trust is
Right.
trust. When it's broken and
Mm-hmm.
you thought you had someone that was genuine, right?
Yes.
And then that you realize, like, here's another fake.
Mm-hmm. It's
That
very
that affects you in
discouraging.
a,
It's very
yeah,
discouraging, and sometimes it makes you feel like you want to give up. You know,
yeah.
you say like, "Wow, this is too much." But as we know, all of us on here have Jesus as our Lord and Savior, and we know that we're more than conquerors, and we can go through, the valley, and we come out strong. So I just
Absolutely.
use that, and the ones that are real, those are the ones. They had a pastor talking on the Facebook, and he said, "Celebrate your celebrators." You know,
Mm.
just think
Hmm.
and don't waste your energy on the ones that are not with you. Start putting your energy and focus on the ones that do support you. And so
Yes.
that's what my
Right.
mindset is now. If you're for
Yes.
me, that's where my mind is going to be, because we really don't have time to waste about on people that are not for us and are wishing us not well.
Absolutely. I want to read a quote that you put in because you're in the first chapter of this particular book.
Yes.
And you say, love always teaches lessons.
Yes, it does. Absolutely. Um, Nothing is done by accident. Our God is the ultimate, He's in control of all things. So when we go through situations, no matter if it causes pain, we know we take it as a lesson. It's
Yeah,
always something to be
absolutely.
learned in what we go through. So I take that to heart. And
Yes.
whatever happens, I learned something from it.
Yes. And you also say that Never love anyone so much that it hurts you.
Yes.
Because in that chapter you talk about the relationship that broke you down, and you trusted it, and you thought it was the next person that you got involved with, and something happened, and then you talked about your sister, and that's what I want you, that's where the
Yes.
sisterhood came in. Your
And that's
sister,
actually my blood sister.
your blood sister, and you
Yeah.
said, recognize the support, and it should not become a crutch, because your sister was trying to show you, I'm not going to be a crutch for you. Stop crying, get up, do
Yes.
something. She can't be
Yes.
an enabler. So talk about that
Mm-hmm.
sisterhood, because that's where that bonding
Yeah.
came.
Yeah. That's my oldest sister, and I have pictures of us when we were younger. I was her flower girl at her wedding. And even as a little girl, I used to like to lay next to her and everything. So we were always kind of tight. But as we got older now, as we're both women, we were able to relate on a different level.
Hmm.
Not as a little girl like 5 and 6 years old anymore, but she was
Hmm.
able to teach me certain things. So my I would say the thing that I learned, the biggest lesson was when I had lost my mom. And so
Hmm.
that's why I'm really excited to write with the Letters to Mom book also, to share more on that. But that was where I had poured my heart, soul, and everything that's in me into my mom. So if there was a person that said something about my mother, I was ready to beat them down. So that was the life that's all I knew. And so now I realize that even though I idolized her in a way, and I know that wasn't good to do, you know, because even your mom and your children can become idols if you love them so much. My relationship with God wasn't as tight then. She was my go-between, you know. I said, okay, tell God this for me, ask God this for me. And so when I lost her, I had to really realize, now I have to now develop that relationship on my own. There's no more go between, there's no more mediator. I have to come to know him for myself, you
Yes.
know, and I didn't want to do that. So that's when Big Sis came in and said, you're going to have to do it, because I'm not going to become your second mediator. You know, I'm not going to let you stay in that weakened state. And so
Yeah.
even though that was hurtful, it was for my good, because people that always want to do for you so much, and they're
What
not
is that?
doing.
Wait 1 second.
I heard that it wasn't here.
I know, no, I know. What is that?
A baby crying or something.
Maybe it's Coco. She'll be back.
Oh,
It's
okay.
Coco. I think my great nieces or someone is
Oh,
at
okay.
stopped at her house. They're twins, and they were just
All
born.
right.
So okay. So
They're
I'm
having a
sorry.
good time.
Carry on, sis.
Yes, because a lot of times people that we get involved with and we're looking for a crutch, we think that they're the best thing when they do everything for us, but they're just keeping us dependent on them. And
Hmm.
that is something that can become really toxic for us. When we have
Hmm.
someone that you just know will do anything you say and not really be real with you and let you know when it's time to stand on your own 2 feet.
Right, right. So we're going to swing back around to you, Dr. Elaine. Dr.
Yeah.
Elaine, I want to chat with you a little bit. I want to talk to you because you've written in all the books, just like Coach Pache and the other girls, right? But you wrote about your sister, a sisterhood with your sister, your mother, your daughter. You talked about the support that your sister gave you when your mom passed. You were broken, you didn't know what you were doing, because you and your mom were so very, very close. I want you to touch on that, Elaine, and then I want you to tell, I love the maid of honor story. That maid of honor story, you didn't know what was going to happen to you with that sister, did you? Oh my goodness. And we're laughing about some things, and then I want you to tell me about some breaks in these sister friendships. I have a whole slew of them, but it's not my night, it's your night. So let's jump into it, Elaine.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yes,
One of the
Elaine.
things that happened during our mom being sick, well, my sister and I, we have a 10-year difference. So probably pretty much like Diane, being the little sister. But now we're adults. And we were raised in two different areas. She was raised in Florida. I was raised in New York. So we would talk, but it was still different than seeing someone every day.
Hmm.
So when our mom got sick, she came up and she was here, and she just took some of the pressure off of feeling like I had to do this by myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then when our mom passed, I mean, she took my son to so that I had some relief as a divorced mom and with 3 young children and having a child with disabilities. It was a lot, still trying to go to work, missing my best friend, trying to grieve. And she stepped in such a way that it goes beyond what I could have imagined.
Mm-hmm.
So I have the utmost respect, love, honor for my sister because
Yeah.
she showed me what it meant to just be a sister. You know,
Mm.
there was nothing off limit. I mean, she was like, "Don't send me anything for your son." Just she took care of him like he was hers.
Yes, yes, yes. That's awesome. That kind of support.
Absolutely. So to this day, I celebrate my sister in any way, shape, or form. So I
Yes,
always say there's nothing that I have that she cannot have.
yes. And before you get to the bridesmaid story, I'm fascinated on how the Lord brought you and Coach Pache together and bonded a sisterhood. And then Pache, then I want you to really talk about that Salon Chronicles, I call it, where you met that one woman that really took you and molded you. And to this day, you salute her because she mentored you. So Elaine, talk about how this connection, because you all have a group of women that's connected to you, you and Coco. I'm giving a call her Coco because I'm slipping. Everybody know by now she's my daughter. You and Pache, and I just want you to talk about how the Lord put you two together.
So Coach Pache and I actually met through a mutual friend. And at that time, I met her a week before my mom passed.
Mm.
So we met, we talked, and we kind of hit it off right then and there. And then my mom passed, and she called and was like, "Are you okay?" And things of that. And you think like I don't really know her, but she
Right.
showed concern. And not
Right.
only did she show concern, she actually showed up, meaning with
Mm.
support, phone calls. Even she bought food, so those types of things. What I realized was even in that moment, so anyone who knows Pache knows she is very, very funny.
She
Um,
got that from her father, to be honest.
and the blessing for me was she was a breath of fresh air, and she would make me laugh at the time in the midst of my grieving, in the midst of me just trying to get it all back together again, right? Whatever that looked like, I was broken. I was trying to finish school. I was trying to raise my children. I was trying to find a new job. I had a lot of trying to do's. And and she was there, and you can't explain, like you said earlier, it's not about the quality, the quantity, the length of time. It's about the quality. But it wasn't just that. It was also she would say something and I'm like, oh yeah. It was almost as if when they use the term frick and frack or yin and yang,
Yeah.
whatever it was, like she had one idea and I'm like, oh, okay, I have the piece to that. And then, or
Okay.
idea. And she, oh, I have the piece to that. And it was kind of like, wait, hold on. This is not just, hey girl, this has purpose. This has,
There you
so
go.
in our time of knowing each other, which has been about 5 years, going on 5,
4, going on 5.
going on 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think so my mom passed in 2017, but 2018, we created Harlem Girls. Um, which was, so we realized that our friendship was not just based on just hanging out. It was
Mhm.
based on purpose. And if it wasn't for that divine connection or divine intervention, we wouldn't be on Bravo with Sheila
Right.
being able to help other people. So what we have to realize, one of my prayers is always, Lord, give me divine connections. I don't
Mhm.
want, divine friendships. I'm not looking for, and if anybody knows me, I'm a loner. So I
Right.
don't look for people. I'm not the gang clique, a bunch of people. Give me substance, give me quality,
Yeah.
because we have to have purpose. I don't care what she has on. I don't care about that. I want to know, what are we doing to become better people? How are
Right.
we contributing to society? What is going to make us better that we can help someone else? I heard this saying by someone who says, I want to always leave more than I take.
Right. Right.
When you understand that you were born with purpose,
Yeah.
you don't have time for petty.
Right. Right. I like that's a t-shirt. When you
Mm-hmm.
realize you was born for purpose, you don't have time for petty.
And
Yeah.
That'll
people have to understand. People have to, people have to understand that there's a balance. And I think with our relationship, it's always that we bring the balance to each other. You know, we grew up in the same neighborhood. We did not know one another,
right.
and we've had people say to us, "I would never put you two together."
Right. Right.
However, that's my sister, not my biological sister, but that
Right.
is my sister.
Right, right. I love that story. Because sisterhood is deep to be able to trust, especially it's a different breed these days. And I know things have happened, in my time, I know I'm dating myself, but I think things have transitioned to a different type of allegiance to each other in terms of the sisterhood, right? I think the bar has been lowered a bit, right? The bar had the standard of why I'm with you, the standard of why are we together, right? Or what are we going to do to complement each other, to raise the bar with each other, for each other, right? I think it's like a deposit that we always should be depositing into anyone that God puts in our way, right? Some of it is short term, some of it is long term, right? You know that saying,
Seasons.
life, yeah,
Friends,
yeah, you have
reason,
friends of
friends
reason,
for
seasons,
reasons,
and lifers, right?
lifers.
Right. And sometimes when friends stay with you for a while and you think they're going to be there forever, and for whatever reason they leave, you feel kind of lonely. But then you have to realize they were there for a reason. And if they serve the purpose that God has placed them for, it's time for them to move on. Right.
Right.
But we have to really internalize that within our mind and our spirit to not be offended if someone is there for a reason, right? Okay, so it's a reason they're there. They're not there forever, but then you have a few lifers that will be there forever. And I think once we internalize mentally and emotionally why someone is in our lives, right, and don't get caught up totally in our emotions, then we're able to understand the purpose why they were there. And it's quite obvious how God put you and Pache together, how that happened through another friend, right? That was her purpose, was to lead Coco to you, right? And I mean, no pun intended to her, but that was what God used. So Pache, and then we're gonna swing back to Elaine to tell us the story about the bridesmaid. Okay, jump in, Pache.
So I just want to piggyback on what she said as far as with the mutual friend. And
Mm-hmm.
it's so funny because I had told her, and I even explained to Elaine in the mutual friend, I told her, I said, well, it's about time you introduce me to somebody that's worth a darn. Because she would invite me out. She said, now I know you don't like these people, but, and I would be sitting there like this. Okay. So when we connected, I was like, well, it's about time. Thank you. So I understood, and we always laugh about it, that was her purpose.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
that was her purpose.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So while you're there, you might as well talk a little bit about your story, that one sister that catapult you into where you actually are today.
Oh,
It's,
so and
you
it's
were
good not to be. You're talking about the beauty salon.
I'm talking about the beauty
The
salon.
beauty salon. So at this point in time, I was actually unemployed because they had closed the job that I was at. Mind you, I have a 9-year-old. So it's like unemployment. How I'm gonna take care of this kid? What I'm gonna do? So in the beauty parlor, the beauty salon, we sit there, we talk, and we just started talking. And I explained my situation to her. She was actually working in the HR department. And instantly she said, send me your resume. Within 2 weeks, I had an interview. By the third week, I had a job.
Mm-hmm.
And didn't know her. We just had a conversation in the
Right,
hair salon.
right,
And from there, we became friends. And
right,
come to find out, she lived around the corner from me where I was living at the time.
right,
So then we
right.
would just go support each other. I go to her house. She would come to my house. But had it not been for her,
Yes.
I would not have been in this job for 21 years.
Right. Yeah,
And it was a
absolutely.
pivotal time because I had to take care and provide for my child.
Absolutely. You were a single
So it
parent.
wasn't just about having, getting a job. It's like you did more than that, because now I'm able to take care of my child.
Mm-hmm.
And even through that, we had lost contact for a while. But when we get back together, it was like we didn't miss a beat.
Yeah.
Exchange phone numbers again. Hey, I can call her right now. Hey, where you
Yeah.
at? What you doing? And she call me right now. Hey, we got to catch up.
Yeah.
So like you said, it's not about the length of time, because I had known her all of about 2 hours in the span of us getting our hair done in the hair salon, getting our hair done.
Yeah.
But just because she was genuine
Yeah.
and had
That's
a
the
heart for
bonding.
people,
Yeah. And that's the
and had a heart,
bonding.
yeah, and she had
That's
a
the
heart for
bonding,
people.
right? A heart for people. You have a heart for people. That's the bonding piece we're talking about. Every story you've just said was the happy ones, the bonding, right? The sisterhood, the pureness from someone's heart to step in and help you. So a stranger just felt like she needed to help you as a young single parent. And your career, I don't even want to give all the degrees now and what you've done from that point and where you are now. And Dr. Elaine, in that time when her mom passed and she was in school, and now she's this professor and doctor, and she's all over the place, empowering so many people, and Diane doing all the things she's doing from everything she's learned from the bonding, the bonds, the bonds, the bonds. I just think that we don't, I've had friendships for 50 years, 40 years, and the bond is so strong. I protect the friendship, right? But at the same time, people outgrow each other, right? There's an outgrowing where I'm headed, they may not be headed, right? But that doesn't mean I have to see them every day or talk to them 5 times in a year. The foundation has been set. The bond has been, nothing can break that bond. You want to jump in?
Yeah, I just want to say something. Even though there's a bond, there will be trials and tribulations, but the bond is what holds you together. Like I get on Elaine's nerves and she gets on my nerves. We'll sit there and I'll be like, "Oh, I can't stand you." She said, "Yeah, but you love me," and I'll walk right away. So that's how I'm like, "I can't stand you right now." She said, "Yeah, but you love me," and I'm like, "All right, yeah, you're right," and I'll go on, and she'd be like, "Coco," and I'll be like, "What, friend?"
But the sisterhood can handle that.
Right, and that
it
the
can handle
bonding,
it.
it
Right.
can handle that.
The foundation is strong. The foundation is strong.
If I'm in need, if she's in need, it's not a second thought. You good? You need something? Right. And I can honestly say, being independent for so long, and I think for her as well, it's not easy for me to ask. And it's not easy for her to ask. But I know if I'm asking her, it's not going to go anywhere.
Right.
It's going to be like, here, take this and give it back when you can, and do what you need to do, and it's vice versa.
That's part of the sisterhood. That's the bonding. And Diane, you want to jump in? You have something you want to add to this?
Well, in listening to this, it made me think of a friend that I know recently, and I've known her for maybe 2 years, and she's that type of friend where I can call on her, and if I need to go somewhere, she'll come 6 o'clock in the morning to take me somewhere and, do things for me that people that I've known for umpteen years would never do, So I can definitely relate to everything that I'm hearing between Dr. Elaine and I'm about to say Coco now too, but so,
I know I just put her out there. I'm sorry, that's what I call her. I try to do the professional thing when she's on here, but it slips.
Yeah, so I'm grateful that I have someone like that now also, and it means a lot, to have.
Yeah, because it makes you feel safe and secure.
Yes, and
it's like I'm good over here.
Someone that's in a professional field, that y'all are building each other. You have something to offer one another. You're not just taking from each other. You're giving.
Depositing. Absolutely.
Yes.
If I can just jump in and just think about the scripture that talks about as iron sharpens iron.
Oh yeah.
Right. So when iron sharpens iron, there will be friction. Right. But it's a part of the sharpening process. And we have to be open to our process because God has come to make us better. So if I'm going to be better in serving him, then I need someone who can sharpen me in the areas that I don't see. So I like to call it's your blind side. So God places people in your life to help you with your blind spots. see, because you can think you're wonderful. And for all of us, right, we know the Bible says we're fearfully and wonderfully made, and we understand that.
Yes.
However, we have blind spots, or
We
we have
do.
our limp, you know, and in that area where our limp is, there's someone who can come along and help you with your limp.
Yes.
You know, so I think that we have to just realize when people come into our lives, there is purpose. And if you're saying to yourself, you know what, who am I? And what do I want to give to the world? For me, it's empowerment. For me, it's how do I help people to become the best? Because I want to be the best at whatever it is I do. So I think of, when I think of life or what I want to pursue, I think of, how do I start it from concept to completion?
That's good.
Even if I meet someone and I'm like, okay, if I can help you, how do I help you from concept to completion? So which means it may not feel good.
Yeah.
But I'm a help. And again, it's not for the world to know. But you get to that spot, and I want people in my life to help me. I say, I don't like it, but I need it. It's necessary for my growth.
Yes.
That's
It's
right.
growing
That's
pains.
good. That's so powerful, right? So that means you don't, if someone needs a stronger word, or, you adapt it to what you see that this person needs. You don't just, pacify. No, what are you? You challenge them. It's a challenge. Like, what are you going to do? Where are you going? Okay, how long are you going to sit in this? How long are you going to stay in that broken relationship? How long are you going to not get up and do something? So and that's good. That's a friendship. That's a sisterhood, because you care about that person. You care about that person, and that's powerful. Those of you who just came in or are coming in, please hit that like button, that thumbs up. And if you have not subscribed, please subscribe. Don't let me have to put my little banner across. Subscribe. I'm asking you to subscribe. Facebook, I am not ignoring you. Hello, Facebook. Let me shout out Dawn D. Dawn says, hello, blessing sisters. Dawn is saying hello on Facebook. Judy Michael. Hey, Michael, Judy, how you doing? Gail Fuller, how are you? Lillian Murphy, good to see you. Thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate you being here. I really, really do. So let's talk about the breaking. Oh, the heartbreak, right? The brokenness. It's hard to recover from heartache, right? Whether it's a woman or a spouse or whatever, but healing has to take place if we're on our way somewhere trying to be better and do better, right? And so let's talk about some of the breakage in friendships that you've gone through that you didn't think was going to break, or someone just surprised you and didn't know it was coming. Who wants to go first?
Well, if you want me to tell the bridesmaid story,
go ahead with the bridesmaid story.
So just a really quick snippet. I was getting married, and I had my friend from college, and I'm like, okay, had this list of who was going to be in the wedding, so on and so forth. And during this time, of course, I'm like, I had my sister in the wedding, I had, friends in the wedding. And so this particular person, I was like, okay, you're going to be my maid of honor. Right. And then, but I've known them through my whole college life. And God then sends this woman into my life where my other sister, the one that I talked about earlier, was supposed to be my matron of honor. But due to her work schedule, she could not attend the wedding. So God placed this other young lady in my life, and we clicked immediately. And I asked her, maybe in 2 months of knowing her, could she be my matron of honor? I knew it in my heart. I felt it in my spirit, and I knew it was just something about her. So, of course, to many people's surprise, it was like, how long y'all have known each other?
Where did she come from?
Where did she come from? Absolutely. So what happened was literally my matron of honor, who I had known, right, who was partying with me. I always say she was my BC before Christ or during Christ or repented. I'm not sure exactly where I was. I got saved probably like 5 times. He actually got an attitude with my matron of honor. And all of this was happening behind the scenes, that they actually had to have a sit down
Wow.
about my wedding. And the issue was that the new person, my matron of honor, was going to stand directly next to me.
Okay.
Yeah. And she would be standing right behind her. And I remember saying, if anyone should have had an issue, I had my other biological sister.
Right.
And she was fine with her spot.
Right.
So it was definitely an eye opener. But here's the funny thing. Through my marriage and through my divorce, that same friend of 2 months is still here.
Wow.
That person that was my matron of honor, I haven't spoken to her in years.
Wow. Really?
And it just lets me know
that
we have to follow the leading of the Holy Spirit.
Oh, yes.
And not, we put up, and if we allow other people to say, well, why are you going to do that? That doesn't make sense. You know how God speaks to you, right? And I had to take control and say, this is my wedding. So when you get married, you do what you want to do. When I get married, but you have to know, because people will say different things for different reasons. And you need to understand what's the motive. And I think a lot of times in sisterhood, when we talk about the breaks of it, the motives are not pure. And if we have unresolved issues that we're not willing to deal with, then they'll spill over. One of the things that my pastor often says, you will bleed on people who didn't cut you.
Ooh, that'll preach.
That's good.
That'll preach.
He preached it.
Oh, he preached it. Okay. That's a good one right there. That is powerful.
It's so significant. And it breaks your heart, because I was there when her son was born. I was there, so when you think about those relationships in those times, it was hurtful, because you want someone to be there and have that reflection. But I go back to something that Diane said, which is, when God is moving you in different directions, God will start moving you to people who are on that level with you of where you're going, not downplaying anyone, but God says, okay, you got to go higher. You got to think more strategic, and people to push you. That same friend that I'm talking about that was there from 2 months till now, when I wanted to go back to school, she kept saying, okay, I was scared to go back to get my master's degree, right? After 16 years. And she was like, what are you doing? And I was like, well, I need a reference. She was like, okay, call the people. And it was her when I was going through my divorce, and I couldn't, the computer, she gave me her laptop so that I could do my work in the midst of the craziness that was happening in my own home. So I don't take those things for granted. But what if I had listened to other people? They weren't there.
No. And God, and the great thing is, you said you knew in your spirit, I just met this girl. I don't really know her. And I knew you was going to rattle the cage a little bit, bringing her to the wedding party and putting her at front and center. I knew you probably like, I know this is going to upset some folk, but this is what I'm feeling. So you knew that wasn't an easy thing that was just going to fly by and nobody, because I'm sure everybody was like, who's that girl?
Eyebrows raised, because they were like, we ain't never heard of her. Where'd she come from?
Is she in your wedding?
And she's my matron of honor. So that was definitely, but the breaking part was hard. It was hard. But the one thing that I realized, and I've often said this, and I'll continue to say this, eagles fly alone.
Eagles fly alone. That's for sure. That's for sure. Pache?
I wanted to say something, because this would be actually her second time going through this, because when we came into each other's lives, everybody's like, who is this Coco? And who is this Coco? And where you going? And my daughter was like, and who's this? And where you going? And we was like, I'll be back. She's like, I'll be back. But where we going? We're in the mall. We're eating. We're going here. She called me, I think within a month of knowing each other. Even, you want to go to Atlantic City and go to this conference? I was like, sure, let's go. So everybody's like, well, where did she come from? And it was on both sides, but we knew it was divine. We clicked on so many different levels, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally.
Well, God fixes it. God orders it. Your steps are ordered, right? And so all we're doing is walking right into plan and purpose He's already written. Our script is already written. So you guys, we're all just walking inside of what's already written, and we're just in the physical doing it. But in the spirit, it's already been manifested. And so that's why it starts to fit all the pieces, the puzzle. It just they
Mhm.
just fit, and you'd be like, wow, that's why those things like you're saying, like this got to be God,
Oh,
because
Mhm.
no,
absolutely.
like no man could fix this. No, nobody would believe this. No
She
one.
even says her youngest, Faith, she said, you know that's your child, right?
Yeah,
She's like,
just like that, Shay.
Faith acts just
Wow.
like me. She said, I'm bringing her over there to you because your child in here acting up. I said, bring on over.
Yeah, that's good. That's good stuff, and being a sister, like you said, there are challenges. I've had friendships that I thought were going to last for a long time,
Mhm.
and they didn't, because let's talk about jealousy. Let's talk about women that appear to be your friends and could be your friends like for a long time, but when God starts to move you up, or you start
Right.
going in a different direction, or
Mhm.
you start traveling the countries, or just different things that they're
Yes.
not a part of, even though you're still connected, but it seems like you're branching off, and then all of a sudden you see this something that you've never noticed before,
Mhm.
and you're like, oh no, it can't be. It's like you don't want to believe it, because not from
Right.
her. No
Right.
way. we
Yeah.
we we broke bread together, our kids did this, or all these different things go through, and be like, no way could this be a jealous
Yeah.
spirit. But a jealous spirit is a jealous spirit,
Mm.
period. Right?
Yes.
And if you and I know everyone, we're all, God has designed us, and we all have different flaws, strengths, and weaknesses. And some
Mhm.
people struggle with the strong spirit of jealousy, but we all have the ability to be jealous, right?
That's right.
So what I'm saying is that those that really have that issue, you have to know yourself. That's why, next week we're going to be talking about, do you really know yourself? Coach Pache and I, and then we're going to open it up to a panel the following week, with a big question mark. Do you really know yourself?
Yes.
Right? And
Yeah.
that's one of the gifts that we have to give ourselves, is to know ourselves, the weaknesses, the strengths, all of that. And so
Mhm.
when you find women and people that I've dealt with, and I find that they started being jealous, I'm like, come on,
Yeah.
no. But
Yeah.
then what did I have to do? I had to accept it, because that spirit starts to creep up, and it starts
Mhm.
manifesting.
Yes.
It's it turns into a murderous spirit
Yeah.
when they don't check it. You have to check those areas that you struggle with. Let's see what some of the comments are saying. Let's see what Princess K is saying. She said, I pray that God would lead me to friends with divine connections. I have recently lost all as a result of issues involving drama, jealousy, and total hostility. You
Wow.
see? You
Yeah.
see? She said all. That means her whole camp
Wow.
was
Yeah.
infested, and
Yes.
here she's in it. The
Wow.
pureness of herself, she's there, and everything surrounding her is like the light bulb, and everything happens. And that's
Yes.
crushing. Because, I
With the
mean, it's
I'm sorry.
terrible. I'm so
With the
sorry,
jealousy
Princess
that you
K.
brought up, I wanted
Yes.
to mention I had a experience with a sister that I was working with at the post office, and it gave me a eye opener to what we release out of our mouth, because the devil is listening. And so
Mhm.
she spoke something to me that I guess the enemy had heard, and he used her to say it to me, and we kind of clicked off of what she said. And so I thought that God had sent her, but it was the devil that sent her. And
Mm.
she knew the Bible like backwards, forwards, up and
I'm
down.
Like
She
the
knew
sure.
the
devil.
scriptures.
So does the
So I
devil.
said,
Like the
this
devil.
has got to be a divine connection. And so
Yes.
we began to talk on the phone all the time. And she would say, we're going to do this and that. Then once I began to see and begin to go against her on certain things and say, okay, well, I don't think that's a good idea, or I'm not going to do that, she completely turned on me, and she said, well, you think you're something because you married and you got your kids. And I mean,
Uh-oh.
I was like, what? Where did this come from? And so my friend was like, well, if she's saying that, that's always been in her.
There you
She
go.
didn't
Absolutely.
just pop up with that.
Can I just jump in and
Yes.
say,
Go ahead.
I
Yes.
want to just say, I want us to realize there's a difference between jealousy and envy. They're close
Mm.
cousins,
They're close
Yes.
right?
cousins. There is a difference.
Jealousy, I don't want you to have it. Envy
Mm-hmm.
is, I want what you have.
Right,
Exactly.
right.
Exactly. Exactly.
And what people don't know, they don't know the cost of the oil for
They
what you
don't
have.
Amen.
listen.
That's
Don't
right.
start. We're gonna sing a verse of
That's
Alabaster
right.
Box in a minute.
Jesus.
That's
We
right.
gonna all go in unison, and I'm gonna
Yes.
direct the choir right here, and we're gonna sing a
Amen.
verse of the Alabaster Box. And we're gonna
Yes.
do the second verse with you. We're gonna let you in
That's
the
right.
you don't know.
The cost of
The-
the oil. Yes.
So I think that is very key, because a lot of times it's not because people see you, right? And we've all heard that you know, you don't know my story, you know, or you see the glory, you don't know my
my
story.
story.
But we have to realize, when someone is jealous, and again, jealous of you, I don't want you to have it, period.
Yeah.
But envy, I always think, is real, because envy will creep up real close to you.
Yeah.
Envy will begin to imitate you. I
Yes.
remember having this, you know, as a former first lady, people dressing like me,
They coveting you.
That's right.
people wearing like I would wear, and I'm like, okay, it got scary. You know, I was like, when you confuse if it's you or not, you know, you're like,
Yes.
did I, you know? And it was something that, and yes, I know people say it's a form of flattery, but then when people start to then try to cross lines, that you go, no, we're not going to do
Right.
that.
Right.
But we as women have to be able to say, you know what, I can compliment the fact that you are this way. Can you help me? Can you show me? I think
Right.
that it needs to be the conversation that we're having. How did you do it? You know,
Right.
and you can tell
That's
them
the
it was a
difference.
lot of
That's the
sweat,
difference.
tears, crying, determination. You
Yes.
sure you want this?
Right.
Because
Right.
the shoes might look cute to walk in, but I promise you.
That's right.
Yes.
And we have to realize what God has given us the grace for,
Yes,
right? Because
absolutely.
I can't wear, let's say, Diane's shoes. Her experience is her experience, and she has the grace for her
There
experience.
you go. That's right.
Right? I have the grace for my experience.
Right.
And even when we've been graced with it, sometimes we sit there and we be like, Lord, why?
That's
Right.
right.
You know,
Amen.
however, we know
Yes.
that the payment for what we've been called to do, because
Right.
we're called to help someone else. So
Right.
there's someone out there even now saying, you know what? I don't know, what is it like? How do I get friends? Because
Right.
they didn't understand that. So they're listening and realize, wait, God can divinely connect you. Time
Yes.
has nothing to do with
That's
divine
Yes.
connection, right?
Right.
Because God knows where he wants to take us and where he wants us to go. But we have to be willing,
Willing.
open,
Yes.
and vulnerable to
Yes.
the experience of what God has given us.
Yes.
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 So
Yes.
I think that is key for us in
is.
understanding sisterhood. And no,
Yeah.
if I could help you, I'm going to help you. And
Mhm.
I
Yes.
think, you know, going back to myself and Pache, even with these books,
Yes.
our intent is always, how do we help someone come out of
Yes.
that place that they didn't think that they can do? Our motto is, there's more in you.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That's
So
right.
while we're sharpening each other, we're actually that proverb that says, lift as you climb, right?
Yes.
If
Yes.
we're going, we're like, okay, come on. And I
Yes,
can say, or
yes.
we can say, with Diane, right? Diane did the first book with us. Diane has taken off. She done read
North.
about 2 or 3 more books after
Yes.
that. Right?
Yes.
She don't need a hand, she
Absolutely.
ain't ask no questions.
Yes.
And my
Absolutely.
point is, that is the part of reproduction, right? It says every seed will reproduce after its own kind. So
That's
if
right.
we're entrepreneurs, we're reproducing entrepreneurs.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And that,
Yes.
yes.
And buying the book. We didn't ask for a discount. We bought the book.
Exactly. And you know what you're
Right.
saying is so true. And so, you know, because the reason why I brought up jealousy, because jealousy causes a lot of things to collapse, right? And when people don't identify their weaknesses, right? Some people deal with a nasty attitude, right? You need to pray about that thing. God, I'm trying to fix this attitude. Some
Yeah.
people have issues with, you know, speaking out of turn. You got to pray, whatever your issue is, right? But when you find a spirit of jealousy and that thing is not put in check, especially in females,
Yeah.
that thing turns into a monstrous spirit. It begins to now, the venom in it, because see, jealousy wants you to respond to it. You know, any spirit that's unlike God, it wants a response. But if you're mature enough not to respond to it, it
That's
gets
right.
it gets angrier
Right.
and angrier. And it can be around women a lot. Like I said, I dealt with that so much, and it has broken my heart in pieces so many times. And I'm the most approachable, person. Like I'm the most, you guys know that. I mean, even with all the major platforms I've been on in Africa and thousands of people, the singer, I've never been not approachable. You understand? But when people's on the sideline and they're making up in their mind who you are just by looking at you, and then want to get close to you, and then you allow certain people in because they appear to be genuine, and then the fall comes. That spirit of jealousy, everyone is capable of it, but some people have it really, really where they got to check it. They have to pray about it. And like you said, I love the way you broke down the difference between the jealousy and the envy, right? Because the envy is what they coveting now. They, you said you started seeing little you walk. You had a dress on. The person she wanted to be you. You said it got real scary, right?
It absolutely did.
You have to know who you are as a woman. We have to dig deep. We have to sit in ourselves, sit in and find out, where am I broken? What have I done? What have I not done? Where am I headed? Where am I going? That's why next week when Coach Pache and I talk about, do you really know yourself? Because you could do all of this, but what's going on in the inside? How shallow are you, or how are you? Who are you? Right? Because you can fix all of this up. And then you move around, and then you want relationships, you want friendships with certain women who are going up the ladder. And again, I started moving out of a space, and women that I was very close to, they didn't like it. I thought they would love it. Like, yeah, you're doing great. I started seeing like this whole spirit that, go ahead, Elaine.
No, I was going to say, a lot of times people want to keep you where they knew you or where you were.
Right.
That's right
So
there.
when I have people who know who know of me, they don't know me.
Right.
They know of me. So what has happened is it depends on what part of me do you know. Because I have evolved so many times. So if you call me by a certain name, I'm like, wait, you know me 20 years ago. You don't know me. You knew 20-year-old Elaine. You didn't know 30-year-old Elaine. And I think that's what we have to realize, is that sometimes people get stuck. And I knew you when. So I'm going to agree with you. Yes, you did know me when, but I'm not her anymore.
That's right.
So while you're still looking for her to act the same and react the same way, she doesn't do that because she realized her value and her time is too precious to waste, right?
That's right.
So I think one of the things that we can do to help us in this whole experience is realize this saying, expectation leads to disappointment, right? We keep expecting people to act differently, and we want to take people with us who are not ready, willing, and or able to go with us into our next, right? I have this saying that says, get ready for your next and your now. But if you don't know what your next is, then you're going to get mad at me because I know my direction and you don't.
That's right. Expectation low, acceptance high. Expectation, you get your heart broken in pieces when you expect, I expected my husband, I expected my boyfriend, I expected. No, you have to say, it would be nice if he did this for me. It would be nice if she did this. Those are the words. It would be nice. Because when you expect, sometimes a person is in their not yetness. And when someone is in their not yetness, then you trying to get something from somebody who's not there yet. Because I always leave the yet there, because people are constantly growing and moving. And so, Pache, you wanted to say something.
And even in that, when you have an expectation, that person has no idea. So now you're upset because a person didn't react the way that you wanted them to react, but they have not a clue of what you expected them to do. So now you have, so who do you put the blame on? That's on you. That's not on the other person. You had an expectation, and that person knew nothing about it. But I wanted to say something as far as what Elaine was saying. When people knew you back then, it's kind of funny because it's like, I know you. We haven't spent time together since we were 14. You don't know me.
That's it.
I'm not a teenager anymore. I'm a full grown woman.
Right.
So, and that's why we get around the people, and it's good to go to the old neighborhood to celebrate people that you're still friends with, but they try to keep you in that box. That's why the conversation is always remember when, because remember when, and remember so remember when, how many years ago? That happened, but it's been 30 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's
So
what it comes that you think she thinks she all that. She think, no, I'm just not that person. I'm not
That's
the little
right.
teenager anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the little girl anymore. I'm not the young adult anymore. I
Yes.
know
Yeah,
who I am.
Princess.
I know
Yes.
whose I am.
Amen.
I know what
Yeah.
I want out of life. I know where I'm going. I
Mm-hmm.
know what kind of friendships I want.
Yes.
Yeah. And as you grow and you're on your journey and you're doing different things and you're following, you're walking in your purpose and your God is showing you so many, because we never stop learning about ourselves, right?
That's right.
It's this thing where, where there used to be a crew of people, as you mature, your circle becomes smaller and smaller,
Yes, it does.
right? It becomes smaller and smaller, and it doesn't become lonely. It just becomes full of purpose.
That's
Your
right.
focus, you look through a different lens when you're
Mm-hmm.
getting older. I mean,
Right.
the older you get, your view change, your
Yes, it
desire changes, your needs change,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Your
Which
perspective on life changes.
absolutely, well, it should. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
people stay stuck, as we were saying earlier, right? So with sisterhood, I know that for me, there's not a lot of people in my space, right? Although I know thousands of people, right, because
Mm-hmm.
of whatever I've done in my lifetime. But
Yes.
as far as in my circle, I'm an introverted person. I'm very private.
Yes.
And Pache is the same way.
And
You
so
know
am
a
I.
lot of and so are you. And you just got to be guarded at times. You have to be
Mm-hmm.
guarded. And there's this conversation going on. Oh, let's say hello to someone who just popped on. Tracy Hairston, good evening, Professor Sanders. She went somewhere to drink some water, I think. You ladies are phenomenal. And I have learned so much. It's so good that you're here. There's a lot of I told you I got best buddies in these YouTube streets. Y'all laugh when I
Yes.
say
Yes.
that, right? Because y'all think I'm an old lady and I don't have no friends. But I got some friends, right? They're younger than me, but they kind of take me by the hand and they teach me all about these YouTube streets, right?
Yes.
Princess Ine and Samantha Michelle and Sir Hale. I keep telling you guys, you have to hit the button. You got to check Sir Hale Speaks. You will love his show. I'm telling you, please, before we leave, go to Sir Hale Speaks and hit that subscribe button. His content is awesome. He's growing, him and his wife. They're doing great things. And he is part of a lot of different platforms in the YouTube street. And it's called the Manospheres. Am I saying that
Okay.
correctly? The Manosphere. And it's a lot of chatter and a lot of talk about marriage, the modern day woman, and marriage, modern day woman, and the traditional woman. They talk, and I like the platforms because most of the platforms are supporting men, which is different because you
That
always
is.
find women
Mm-hmm.
promoting women sticking together. But
Mm-hmm.
these platforms is man strong. And if you're not a strong woman or something, you can't be in that chat because they go hard. I mean, they go hard, right? But they bring up some topics that so I think sometimes the average female don't think about, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I hear the view of a lot of men. I wouldn't even think they think like that. And a lot of men are looking for good women, wives, and they're saying they're not out here. They're
Wow.
saying they're not out here. And the
Mm-hmm.
ones that they get involved with, they're like a joke, or they go
Mm-hmm.
through all this. It's just, I'm telling you, these YouTube streets is something new. I didn't think that I was going to be going through this when I got on here and got a channel to be active. I mean, the music thing, I'm never live over there. But this
Right.
here, I'm learning so much about the YouTube streets. They be up doing late night. Sir Hale got Super Sunday now. And I mean, the conversations are awesome, but they give you information on really deeply how men are feeling about women, the women today. And I sometimes wasn't connecting. I was connecting with the information, but where I come from, it was a different era in how women respond to men.
Yes.
And it's not like that anymore,
Mm-hmm.
No.
obviously.
That's
The
right.
modern day woman is a new chick on the block. I'm telling you. And I'm learning so much about it. And so that if I look at it that way, I still have to figure that, and it's changed. Then the sisterhood is probably in shambles
Oh yes.
in terms of allegiance, in
Mm-hmm.
terms of loyalty. Okay, let's talk
Yeah.
about the characteristics of a positive sisterhood. What do you think it is? I know loyalty.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Trust.
Mm-hmm.
Loyalty, trust,
Uh,
someone you can be vulnerable around,
that's a
totally
good word.
transparent,
Now that's
Yes.
a
non
scary word. That's scary. Transparent.
non-judgmental,
Right.
Honest.
non-judgmental,
Honest.
honest,
Honest.
yeah,
Right. Because I think,
love,
yeah, because I think just someone being honest with you to tell you, your attitude stinks right now.
That's
And you
right. Yes.
like
You
for
know
real, you
what?
getting
That's a good point because women, they don't tell each other. They just let you slide. They let you behave
Yes.
any kind of way.
Yes.
No accountability.
Mhm.
absolutely. And I think that's the number
that's a
one.
problem.
Yes.
I rather have friends that hold me accountable than
Yes.
just I always say this: if you can't celebrate me, don't tolerate me.
Yes.
So
That's
I
right.
I would like, or I want the people around me to be authentic, because
Yes.
I have those moments where I'm like, okay, is it me?
Mhm.
Tell me, and if it
Yes.
is, let me know. And
Yes.
I often say this to anyone, whether it's in a friendship with my like girlfriends, or if it was in a relationship. I
Mhm.
never ask a question I'm not ready for the answer.
Nancy.
Right.
Now, see,
Right.
that's important.
Mm-hmm.
That's important. You can't stick your nose and be prying and stuff and
Yeah.
being, I want to know, and then you find out, and then you crushed or you
Yeah.
angry.
No, so if you're going to be my friend, anybody who knows me
Mm-hmm.
knows I'm very direct.
Yes. Yes.
I have to think. I'm like, oh, okay, how I'm going to say this in another way. I got to,
Mm-hmm.
but I'll first ask you, do you want my honest opinion? Which
Right.
means once you say yes,
That's
You
it.
ask,
Get ready.
you're
Right.
going
you
to have
ask
all this
first.
smoke that's going to come.
Yes.
No, but
Right.
it's to make you better.
Yes. Yes.
It's not to say, hey, Tracy.
It's
It's not
constructive.
to, right. It's constructive, and it's to help you,
Yeah.
not to hurt you. And
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
sometimes it does hurt your feelings because it's
Yeah.
not what you expected.
Right.
yeah,
But in order to be a real friend, I go back to the blind side. You have to help me see what I don't see.
Right.
So if
Yeah.
you keep
yeah.
letting me go out, it's like somebody see, you went in and you got tissue on your shoe.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me,
That's right.
stop. You got to tell me,
Yeah.
help fix me.
Right.
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 Right. Fix
I
my
can't see
crown.
behind me.
Yeah.
Right. You're watching me and you just like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna just let her walk around. She thinks she's cute. No,
Yeah.
help me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I have
And
it's
I
a
think
true.
friend.
that's it. We have to
Um,
just know that we want the help, and we're going to be
yes.
honest with one another, and be
Yeah.
authentic in our relationships.
Yeah, Kathy says being sincere. That's true. And
Mhm.
Facebook, hey Facebook, I'm right here. I didn't go anywhere. And
I
as
have.
we were talking, Dawn says, and don't forget obedient in the spirit, this
Yeah.
experience, obedient in the experience. That was a earlier comment. And Dawn says, say this, Dr. Elaine. Yeah, so we got the girls on Facebook on rooting us and talking too. What she says, okay now, Auntie Bravo, not yetness. I love it. Yeah, that's my little word. So this is awesome. This
I wanted to
conversation.
mention
I'll keep going. Keep going.
before that I have a friend that for over 20 years, and her key word, I know something is up when she says, "Are you okay?" That's the line that she'll say, and I say, "Okay, what happened? What did you see that was out of order?" So
Okay.
if she texts me and say, "Are you okay?" I say,
Then
"Okay, I know
something's
it.
off.
Tell me
Something's
about it."
off.
Yeah, and we know that we don't get offensive towards one another. We take it in and
Right.
make the proper adjustments, because that's what's necessary now. That we don't say, "Oh,
And
you can't tell me that," you
But
take it
don't you
and
in.
think a person has to have a certain type of relationship with you in order to try to check you? I mean, can
Absolutely.
anybody, like, it can't be you, have you had like a crew of girls or a tribe, I'll say, and
Mm-hmm.
certain ones would try to say something to you, but you're like, she can't tell me about me. You have certain
Because you
people
know the
that you'll
motives
listen
behind
to
it.
and certain people you won't listen to. You understand what I'm
Right.
saying? There's certain
and
people
Yes, you
that
have to know the motives.
won't correct you, or you won't think they allow them to correct you.
Mm-hmm.
They have to have some type of relationship with you in order to correct you. Do you agree with that?
yeah,
Absolutely.
that's what I was going to say. You have to have that sisterhood bond to
Mm-hmm.
know that when your sister is correcting you, it's coming from a place of love.
Right.
That's right.
And she's not being facetious or malice or just trying to chop you down.
Yes.
Okay, I
Good.
saw you do this and this was out of pocket. And you don't have to say it while you're in front of everybody. You can wait till you get with
That's
each
right.
other and
Yes.
have the conversation. Because even Elaine
Mm-hmm.
and I, if I'm on something and she's teaching, if I'm on, I'm teaching and she's on, the first thing, how did I do? How did I do?
Yes.
It's the check-in. Was I good?
Right.
Did I do this? Did I do that?
Because you
So
respect
it's
her,
respect.
and you
Yes.
respect
Right.
her. You respect her counsel. You respect her. You trust her. You respect her.
Yeah.
Your situation has been proven and tested, so you're vulnerable. And it's not everyone that has the right to get in deep
That's
in your
right.
space
And
like
that's why I
that.
said you have to have
Right.
that relationship and know where that relationship is at.
I
Right.
definitely want to share, it made me laugh because I thought about in a situation with Pache and we went somewhere and she said to me after it was over, she said, "Friend, you was wrong." She said, "But I wasn't going to say it in front of everybody. I'm
Right.
with you." But after she was like, "You was wrong."
Well,
And I was
that's a
like,
fact.
"Really? You think so?" We laughed
Yeah.
about it, but I was able to appreciate that moment.
Absolutely.
Because she did say I was wrong, and I was like, "Yeah, maybe I was wrong." But
Yeah.
she was
And then
with
she said, "Well, you went along with it." I said, "Well, I wasn't going to go against you while we was in the
Right.
process of doing what we was doing. I had to
Yeah.
go along with it."
That's
But I'm
right.
telling you now.
But the
So,
point is, she was able to approach you and correct you and with love. See,
Yes.
Bolo TV, right on time. Truth given without love is a weapon.
Yes.
That's
yeah,
powerful.
yeah,
That's
and
so
yeah.
powerful, Bolo.
I would also say, for me, a part of friendships, I need you to catch me in the spirit.
Oh, see, that's important.
Yeah.
I
But
need you to go,
uh-oh.
and I've had that happen
Mm.
where I have a good friend. We don't have to talk all the time. They'll send me it actually happened this morning, and someone sent me a text and was like, "The Lord dropped you in my spirit and I'm doing a check-in." We didn't have to talk. It was just to know, it's almost like that old song, "Somebody prayed for me, had me on your mind."
Yeah,
And
yeah.
to me, is when you can catch me and I didn't say anything, because I think for all of us
Ooh,
on
ain't
this
nothing.
call,
Ooh.
we are that example, as people say, the strong Black women, right? However, even strong people have moments of weakness of
That's
saying,
right.
"I'm tired.
Absolutely.
This is just,
Absolutely.
whatever." So somebody to be able to catch you, because I'm quite sure we hear a lot of other people's stuff all the time, right? Because it's
Right.
like, "Oh, help me." And what I mean, just throwing things off. But you have those moments where you're like, "I don't want to hear anything. I don't want to know anything. I just want
Right.
to." It's about me right now.
Right.
I need to take care of me. And I think the other part is having somebody to even help you with that, to say, "All right, stop. You need to
Right.
press pause. It's
Yes.
okay
That's
if
right.
you do this."
Absolutely. But
You
I
know,
like that. You said, catch me in the
Yeah.
spirit. That's so powerful. I mean, you could park right there. I mean, I could. Because, I mean, you know me, I hear that. I was like, "Ooh, that'll preach." Or, oh, man, that's, catch me in the spirit. Because if you have friends, right?
Yeah.
I mean, because I have friends who know the Lord or who are Christians, and I have friends who are deep in the spirit, and I have friends who think they in the spirit and not in the spirit. I ain't judging. I'm just saying the truth. I'm being honest, right? And when you have a friend that is can be in the spirit and hear God, and just follow the Holy Ghost. Like, pick up the phone and call her. You don't have to know why or nothing. And you pick up the phone, you be like, "I can't. God, thank you, Lord. Thank you for this." And she's just pouring, or he is pouring into you, pouring. That's catching you. Try the spirit by the spirit. No distance in the spirit, right? And so that's so important I know for my life as a believer, the spirit of God is what that I need, the touching and the filling and the poking, right? Because the soul is going to always shout and try to make you crazy, right? The soul going to try to get your mind all twisted. But when you have a friend or a sisterhood and someone who could say, "Let's talk about, or let's pray. Let's pray for a few minutes." Or, "How you doing today?" Or, that's the spirit connection. But a carnal relationship, you get jewels from that as well, but it's not a spiritual touch. It's a conversation. You respect the friendship as it is. But when you have that spirit to spirit, it's so fulfilling. You get full. Yes, Coco.
I was saying, even over a telephone call, I can call Elaine or she can call me, vice versa, and you can hear by the tone in my voice or her voice.
Right.
And I'll say nothing. She'll be like, "What's wrong?" And she'll do the same thing. "No, what's wrong?"
Exactly.
You
Exactly.
can't tell me nothing because I know how you. I know you.
Yes.
And look what Kathy just did. I put up. I didn't even read it. She said, just like when you call your friend or they call you and you say, what's wrong? They can
Wow.
hear it in your
In
voice.
your
Ain't that
voice.
The
something?
realness.
Yes.
See that? See, I just picked that comment up and put it up. I didn't realize what she said, but that was right on time, Kathy. Yes, yes, and yes. So sisterhood is important on every level. You know, sometimes people think, you know, well, if you have a lot of friends, you're a believer. You shouldn't, you know, be with people who aren't believers. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in judging. I don't believe in measuring somebody's walk, right? Because the more you walk with somebody and your fruit is vibrant, that fruit is going to come off on somebody else, right? And let's
Yeah.
see what Reverend Janelle 42 said. That's very important. Catch me. I'm telling that's a word right there. That's
Yes.
another T-shirt. Y'all writing this down for profit
Your business, right?
organization? Y'all dropping jewels tonight. You've been dropping, you know, jot this stuff
And
down.
I do want to say something, even when we were talking about the breaks.
Mm-hmm.
If you think about it, when we have pain, if we have a headache, if we go to the hospital, there's all kinds of medication, right? We can take some for a headache. We can take some if our knee hurt. We can take some if our back hurt. What do you take when your heart hurts?
Wow.
There's no prescription for a heartache.
Right. Right.
Worship.
That's something you got to sit
Hey,
there,
there you
right?
go.
But you got to
Worship.
sit there. Yeah, worship
Yes.
for us. But if you're not,
No, I know.
That's
That's
right.
all I
Yeah.
know. That's what worship saved my life and kept me
Right.
sane. So
yeah, so that I just wanted to say, there's no prescription for a heartache
yeah,
or when your heart is broken.
yeah.
Yes.
Love never fails. You give that
Yeah.
love that you're talking about.
And I
That
think
love that you give.
I wanted to share something a little funny about when you were talking about how y'all can call each other and you know something's wrong. This friend of mine that I've known for years, I know one time I was supposed to do a live and I was like 10 to 15 minutes late, but it was for, you know, just running late. And I got so many texts, and she was, I bind the devil off you in the name of Jesus. I mean, she was in street warfare.
Wait a minute now.
She said, girl, I thought something was wrong.
Hold on.
I was like, no, I'm okay. Calm down.
Wait a minute. She went to the oil.
She was ready.
She was ready.
She said, you know, I was ready. I was binding and losing. I said, okay.
Whoa.
Well, I hope you're on time next time.
Oh my God, please.
or text her in advance and let her know you're running late.
Exactly.
Right. Give her a
Exactly.
heads up.
Princess K said, yes, if Peter walked with the Gentiles, I can do so too, LOL. As long as they aren't dimming my light, so to speak, and God is in it, I don't judge. There you go, Princess K. That's right. That's right. That is so funny. That story there is so funny. Princess K, she was ready. Sha ba 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 ba. Tie my bow tie. She was ready. Oh my God, that is so funny. Oh, ladies, this was really good. This was good. This was good. I tell you, I love chatting with you guys. This is awesome. So let's see. What else do you want? Let's get the last final words on sisterhood, because we could really do part 1, part 2, we could open them, have 3 more ladies sitting next to us to kind of chop it up on these topics. I just love empowering each other and you know, sharing and being authentic. That's one thing. Being authentic for me is the real deal, right? And a lot of times I said something yesterday. Somebody was going through something. I'm in Charlotte. Some of you see I'm not in my regular space. So I was in Charlotte and this girl was broken. She came in crying and crying and crying. He did this. He did. A young girl just going. I'm like, oh my God, right? So we tried to compose her, you know, to get her to like really calm down. And it just showed me how much, you know, women, young girls need mentors. They need jewels. They need guidance. They need support. You know, they get tied up with sometimes these toxic relationships and then they don't know how to get out. And then they stay so long that the person break them down in their character and their emotions, you know. And just watching her yesterday put so much in my heart for conversation, right? Just having conversations of like what we're talking about. So I want to know, what would you say now in closing to women about sisterhood and bonds and breaks. And I just want to turn you guys loose to say whatever you want to say. If you didn't say something you wanted to say, now is your time to say it. Hello, Evangelist. My dear friend Lorraine, she says, great show tonight, y'all. She said, we were on her street. All right. All right. We were on her street. All right. So I like when we go parking on people's street. That means God got us right in the vein of things, right? We're right in the vein. That's why we got to keep coming back and keep coming back and keep coming back. Go ahead. I want y'all to just jump out there and just talk. You want to go first, Coach? What you want to say?
I would go back to what was said in the beginning as far as friendships and forming friendships. It's not the time span that you have known somebody. Right. That divine connection can happen, and it happens instantly. Yes. And also on top of that, when you do find that sisterhood, cherish it. Don't take it for granted.
That's right.
Respect that person as you want to be respected.
Exactly.
Treat her as though she is you.
That's good. Bravo.
Yep.
You got more?
No, we're going.
Okay. Miss Diane.
I think the one thing that I would like people to know is that when we go through the pain, don't let it make us bitter and cause us to isolate and not trust anyone ever again. Because even though we are strong women, we all do still need each other. You know, God put us here to encourage and to be one, praying for one another.
That's good. That's good. Doctor.
Breathe through it. I would say one of the things I would like to say from the aspects of the breaks is know that there is purpose in your pain. I think the other part of it is understanding that there is a promise that's attached to your purpose. And I think when we look at those things and realize that God has, as you said earlier, it's already been written. We're just walking it out.
Yes.
And enjoy the moments, good, bad, or indifferent, because we know that they're life lessons. And God is helping us to empower younger women, older women, because I think one of the things we miss sometimes is we say mentor the young, but there are a lot of older women broken. They're made up. They look beautiful on the outside, but they're broken on the inside.
That's right.
Me personally, I will say, you know, I appreciate the women that have been in my life, whether it was my mother, my aunts, you know, the mothers of the church, because they gave me a foundation to understand who I am, so that I can now reproduce and help other women in that same area without any jealousy, any malice. It's from a pure place, and most people are not accustomed to that. So I'd say just be you, and those that will come to you will come. You know, everyone else is taken, so be you.
Right.
That's good. Look, another jewel. Another one. She's on the roll tonight.
Yes, she is. I like that.
I just think, and you're not going to be everyone's cup of tea, and you have to be okay with that.
Got to be okay with that.
That's right.
That is so true. So listen, I thought we were going to close, but we can't leave without answering a couple of questions on Facebook. Evangelist, my friend Lorraine says, "Do y'all help to write your books?" You got somebody who's interested. So can you give your information, but don't do that yet. First, let's look at this first comment that Princess K put up earlier. And she said, "There's a question my aunt gave me for entering into any relationship or friendship. How does this person improve the quality of my life?"
All right.
Bravo to her. And that's good. That is powerful right there.
That's good, because that's one of the things I often say to myself when I meet new people. How is this person going to edify my life?
Right.
And you ask yourself that question because you already know what you bring to the table.
Right. So exactly.
You know what you're bringing to the table. So you're entering into this new relationship, and that's a good question for anybody to ask, that they come in contact with somebody new and they think that's it, or that's the sister, or that's how good. Does this person edify my life?
Yes.
That's right. That's right. Tracy,
I would say, are they coming with Tupperware, or are they bringing a plate?
Oh, now she come late. Look, at the late hour, at the midnight hour. Now she got her jewels. She's dropping. Tracy says, glad I caught you ladies in the spirit. This was beautiful, empowering. We must continue to straighten each other's crowns because we are royalty. And yes, and on that note, I want you guys that are listening, I want you to send in topics that you think would edify us, the community of women. Send in topics for us to talk about. We could broaden the broadcast. We can have 4 or 5 more women up here so that we can all kind of just chop it up and jump in and offer jewels, right? Take the jewels, leave the junk. That's what I say all the time. Just take my jewels, leave my junk. Just do it, you know. And I just want, you know, maybe we can, in this Harlem Girls Forever. So if you're on Facebook, Lorene, I can send it to you because I'm your friend on Facebook. I can send you the information. Tell the listeners, the viewers and listeners, those that will come later, how they can get in touch with you, Dr. Elaine and Coach Pache, if they want to be a part of writing a book, or if they have a gift, poems, whatever. Come on, talk about what you do.
Well, I would say the best way to reach out to us is via email, and that's Harlem, HARLEM, girls, GIRLS, the number 4, ever, EVER.com. Okay. That's the website, and at Gmail is the email.
Oh, okay. You want to say that again?
Harlem Girls, the number 4, ever, at gmail.com.
There you go. All right, great. Elaine, you want to say something? Because, I mean, this was awesome. So we'll be back. Listen, ladies, all of you, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. I'm going to be calling on you again. We're going to open up this platform and really, really have some deep conversations that people don't want to talk about. The church don't want to talk about.
I just had an idea, sir. You should have Princess K on it and Nay.
Yes, I will, but they're so busy. Let me tell you, Princess K and Inay, they're moderators. They in these YouTube streets. Let me tell you, they go around to different platforms and they work for Sir Hale. They be in the chat. Will you see how I'm putting the comments and stuff up? That's what they do. And they move around the streets and they jump on this platform and that platform. They don't have time to get on no show, but maybe they will one day. Princess K and Inay. Yeah, we can do that. They are wonderful. And Samantha Michelle. Those are the 3, my hangout buddies in the streets here. And so we will be back. But I do want you guys to please, those of you on Facebook, drop an email. She says, okay, I'll reach out to you, Lorene. We want you to give us topics, don't we, ladies? Don't we want to talk more? Yes. We want to offer more. We want ideas. And like Kathy said, this is real talk. She says, yes, that would be nice. Real talk. So much education and fun. Bravos, ladies. So you ladies stay there while we say goodnight to our guests. Why don't you say goodnight? Say goodnight to everyone. This is Bravo with Sheila signing off. We raised the bar together here. So just keep coming back. Keep hitting that bell, the subscribe button, and give the thumbs up tonight. I'm trying to listen. I'm at 187. I'm trying to get to 200. Let's see if I make it 200. Everybody in the YouTube streets, I'm trying to get to 5,000. I'm trying to get to 2,000. I'm trying to get to 200.
That's right.
All right, guys. Thank you, Facebook. Thank you, YouTube. I'll see you again soon. Bolo TV tomorrow morning, 6:45 a.m. We're opening up a new book tomorrow morning. You want to come and listen to the word of God. 6:45, Bolo TV 16 tomorrow morning. And Sir Hale speaks. Y'all got to come on these streets with me. I'll see y'all later. Wait, somebody put a comment up. What do they say? Good night. They said good night. All right. This was awesome. Ladies, stay right there, okay? All right.